sometimes up, sometimes down, and sometimes a lot of emotions at one time. There are times when you may want to scream, laugh, or cry. The grief journey is much like being on a roller coaster. Hi, my name is Gladys Bell, and I'm a volunteer with the Motherless Daughters Ministry. This channel was originally initiated as another way to connect with women everywhere, to share our stories, information, and encouragement, and also let you know that you're not alone. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your day today. There are other women who are experiencing some of the things that you may be experiencing and need to talk with someone who understands. If this is helpful to you, we'd like to ask you to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, leave us some comments, and share it with other motherless daughters. It's been years since I've been on a roller coaster, but the memories are still very vivid. Although there have been many improvements and generations of designs since then, the basic idea of the roller coaster and its elements still exist. Individuals are restrained in one of a number of cars or seats um, or positions. The beginning of the ride starts out smooth and easy. There is an initial slow ascent up a very high, steep hill. The descent is fast, furious, and may involve a curve. The train of cars or seats speed through other lesser ascents and descents, jerking around curves and different directions, and maybe even upside down. As I looked at information about roller coasters, I discovered the ascent up the initial lift hill pulls the train of cars or seats by a cable or a chain that produces what they call potential energy. That potential energy becomes what is called kinetic energy, produced by the motion of the plunging off that high hill. The kinetic energy is then converted back to potential energy as the train travels up subsequent smaller hills, descents, and curves. Of course, there are numerous safety mechanisms and procedures in place to prevent accidents. Some people experience motion sickness when on a roller coaster, and the main cause of motion sickness is an imbalance in the inner ear, caused when the brain gets mixed messages about the movements of the body. The quick changes in directions, the jerking, and the speed of the roller coaster make for the perfect recipe for motion sickness. The grief journey happens in cycles and waves. There's no pattern to the frequency, the severity, or the structure of any given wave of grief. It's unpredictable, it's exhausting, and sometimes disorienting. We could even use the terms confusing, overwhelming, and frustrating when we're talking about waves of grief. The initial shock of loss has a numbing effect. It's slow to wear off as we navigate the surreal environment of a new normal. It's a slow climb to any measure of acceptance as life pulls you into the tasks that must be accomplished, like paying bills, going back to work, taking care of obligations. Then all of a sudden, bam, we are triggered into a wave of grief that spirals us downward at breakneck speed into an overwhelming sadness. We are sometimes jerked in another direction by a secondary loss that compounds what's already happening. Necessity fuels the resurgent potential energy to climb the next hill. That's a little less steep, and it's even the next curves. Being repeatedly ambushed by triggers that initiate a new wave of grief is exhausting. So, how does one survive the roller coaster? Some people close their eyes, hold tightly to the harness or bar that's holding them in. Some people scream, laugh, cry, while others endure the ride with hands held high in the air. Still others take Dramamine to avoid the motion sickness in preparation for the ride, or hold tightly the hand of a trusted familiar friend sharing the seat with them. When it feels to be too much, what we want is to stop the ride and get off. Surviving the grief roller coaster is not so different. Some need to scream into a pillow, laugh, or cry to relieve the stress. Some people need to be around lots of other people, while other people want to withdraw from the world around them. Others attempt to medicate themselves to function at what might appear to be a normal level. We can prolong it, but we cannot stop or control the grief journey. The answer is a designer's original, a combination of responses that's unique to you. What works to help you on this healing journey? Some of the suggestions from others include journaling, any activity that would honor the life or wishes of your loved one, moving only when you're ready, making time and space for your grief. The approaches to grief are as unique as every individual. As we go into a new year with this big hole in our heart, we learn to manage our grief, as the song says, one day at a time. I only came by today to share out of my experience and encourage you to discover what works for you, to move through the process of grief, to adapt to the changes in your life. People leave us, not always by choice, but God promised never to leave us or forsake us. And quite frankly, I don't know any other place to go. I choose to stand on His promises. The Motherless Daughters Ministry offers a community of support and lots of resources to help on this journey. And you have a standing invitation to join us. And remember, you are not alone.